Good evening, everyone. Before we start our meeting, I would like to ask Pastor Doug Young of Our Father's House to come forward for our opening invocation. If you could please stand.
Thank you all. Deeply honored. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the gift of this city and for those who serve as leaders among us. Lord, we ask you to grant our city council members wisdom and guidance as they deliberate on the matters before them tonight. May their decisions be just and righteous and rooted in your truth. Bless our mayor, our city staff, and all the positions of authority, that they may govern faithfully and serve the common good. As we come before you today and discuss important matters, we ask for your guidance and your wisdom. You are the source of all knowledge and understanding. Therefore, we seek your direction in our decision-making process. As your word says in Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Help us to listen attentively to one another with open hearts and minds. May we not be quick to judge or criticize, but seek instead to understand different perspectives. We pray that you would give us the discernment to make the best decisions for the greater good. We trust that you will guide us on this path, and you will lead us to reach a consensus that will reflect your will. May our words and actions be guided by your love and grace. Protect those who defend justice. Strengthen those who care for the vulnerable and needy. Help us to see your image in every person, to act always with love, mercy, and humility. Let your peace fill our city, and your will be done in all that we do. May everything accomplished here today bring benefit to our community and glory to your name. We ask in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you
very much. And we'd like to call this meeting to order for September 3rd, 2025. Sergeant, if we could have the pledge.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could have a roll call, please.
Sanders.
Here.
Chavez.
Here.
Lewis. Amabil.
Here. Our first item is consideration approval of the agenda. And let's see, staff is requesting that item 7I, City Council Resolution number 6977, approving and adopting a policy for the discontinuation of residential water service and non-payment in compliance with Senate Bill 998, be removed from the consent agenda and presented as a separate agenda item after consent agenda has been approved. And so, let's see. So we'll do that at the time of the agenda, consent agenda. But is there anything else that the City Council would like to discuss or of our agenda for the approval? Not seeing or hearing anything. If one could give me a motion to approve with, as stated.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
Pulling a by.
Okay, well, we had a motion to approve the agenda as submitted, along with the request from 7I, and we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We do have some presentations. This time I'd like to go down. Teresa? Oh, there she is. Hello, how are you this evening? Come a little closer. We are very happy that you're a part of our city and the employees that work here, and we're very honored to give you this certificate of recognition for Teresa Nava, a part-time recreation assistant for Parks and Recreation Department, in recognition of your outstanding performance and dedicated service to the city of Los Banos, and for being named Employee of the Month for August 2025. Thank you for all your hard work. We do appreciate it. Thank you again. We were, a few months ago, I got a letter from the governor's office, and this is the 175th anniversary of statehood for the state of California. And so all our departments are going to be putting anniversary logo on all our papers that go out and all the letters that go out. And they asked us to do a proclamation recognizing California 175th anniversary of statehood. So I'll read this to us. Whereas thousands of years, Native Americans tribes have called the land we now know as California home, cultivating the most populous and rich region north of Mexico. And whereas following a complex history, including the Treaty of Guadalupe and the gold rush of 1848, California was admitted to the Union as the 31st state on September 9th, 1850. And it is currently home to over 39 million people. Whereas 175 years, California has stood as a beacon of innovation, diversity, and resilience, leading the nation in agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism. And whereas California's rich landscapes and spirit reflects a unique harmony of ambition, creativity, and inclusiveness while facing adversity. California's unity and strengths are what guide California's grit, determination, and relentless belief in what is possible. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and the city council members of the city of Los Banos do hereby recognize September 9th, 2025 as California's 175th anniversary for statehood, and encourage residents to celebrate and reflect on all the wonderful things our great state of California stands for and the great people that live here. So I asked Governor Newsom to be here, but he couldn't make it, so I'll accept it for our governor. Thank you very much. Okay, now we'll go to our public forum. Members of the public may address the city council on any item that's in the public interest within the jurisdiction of the city council. Includes agenda and non-agenda items. No action will be taken on non-agenda items, and speakers are limited to 5 minutes for their presentation. And so anyone that would like to speak to the city council, please come forward at this time to the podium and state your name, please.
Hello, my name is Carlos Flores. I'm a resident in District 1.
Welcome.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm here to speak on the subject matter of chromium in the water, okay? And so I've kind of been reading, I actually went on Los Banos to read what Los Banos is saying about the EPA levels of chromium in the water. And it says that the water is at a safe level for people to drink, okay? I, as a human being, as a person, right, I am indigenous, okay? My people have been growing fruits and vegetables for thousands of years with no pesticides, no chemicals whatsoever, okay? I don't understand how, as a society, we accept the poisoning of the community through these chemicals, right? I'm going to tell you right now, I know the world is the way it is and there's pollution happening everywhere, right? But at the same time, we're supposed to be protected by the city officials, county officials, federal officials, California officials, right? And so I talk to people around the community, and this is one of the biggest things that they're worried about, because they're like, what is the percentage of chromium in these wells, right? And I do not validate the EPA. The EPA has been downgraded by the corporations, right? And the people that represent us in federal government who have been bought off by bribes to, so the EPA does not have a backbone to protect us. From what I understand, anybody can come up with a product, present it, and if you're a big conglomerate corporation and you are a lobbyist and then you pay these bribes, which are so-called donations, right? Most likely anything passes through. So I am here for not only the community of Los Banos, I mean everybody. But I'm wondering, since we live in the Central Valley, and I understand that farming is huge here, and there's a lot of power behind it, right? But the thing is that what about humanity? What about humanity over money, right? Because this is one of the biggest things that I don't understand, because when my people were here many, many moons ago and have been here for many, many moons ago, right? We didn't poison anything. We didn't put pesticides on anything. There's people in other countries still not doing this stuff, right? And I just read an article the other day that in some third world countries, because people have to survive off having their own animals and planting their own vegetations, I guarantee you they don't use any pesticides or any hormones in those animals, right? So the thing is that they're saying right now that the United States food is worse than a lot of third world countries right now, because of the preservatives, because of the contamination of water, because of the contamination of lands, right? So I'm assuming for all these years that this land in the Central Valley and wherever they grow food, I know this Mississippi River is contaminated for the same reason. And that water is running into the Gulf of Mexico, killing all the coastal fish and other life and corals, right? So as humanity, as people living here, and we want to live a healthy life, there's a lot of cancer in the Central Valley, and I wonder why, right? So I just want to put that out there, as you guys are our representatives, and I hope you guys do come back with something on this, because people are saying we shouldn't have any poison in anything, none, right? Because then we have to take a procedure to get those metals out of our body. And if you don't do that, eventually you're going to end up with cancer or some kind of illness, right? So I don't blame that on anybody here. I blame it on our representatives and the people that are using these chemicals or doing these things. Because you guys say you guys are for us and watching out for us, right? Are you guys really watching out for us? Right? Because I know politics at the city level, at the county level, the state level, there's things that happen that we don't know, right? And so the thing is, though, is that we want answers to, when we come here and we stand up and we bring these issues, we want answers, right? A lot of us are coming from many different areas to the Central Valley because we can't afford anything, because we've been kicked out, right? But at the same time, I just want to bring this to the attention, because I don't think anybody should be poisoned anywhere. And if we're being poisoned, I call it premeditation murder, because the people who are using these chemicals or letting these things in know eventually some people are going to end up with cancer, end up with other sicknesses, and die, right? And so I just want to say that and put that out there so the community knows what's going on, if they don't know what's going on. But at the same time, hold the people responsible or held accountable that are supposed to protect us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Gamila Mohammed. I am the program manager for the American Red Cross of Merced County. And tonight we wanted to present something to the local fire department here of the city of Los Banos. Chief Tuala and his firefighters have done an amazing job supporting our Sound the Alarm program. This is a program where we install free smoke alarms to residents all over Merced County. This is something that is done all over the country. And we would not have been so successful the past few years doing this program without their department. So we wanted to say thank you. And I have a couple of my volunteers here tonight. One of them is the veteran volunteer, April Thacker, and Frank Rivera, who's in charge of our logistics. You guys can come up here as well. Just real quick. I know Chief Tuala is not here tonight, but he does have a representative that can accept the gift on his behalf. If you want to come up and get it real quick. So I just wanted to thank you to your department for all the help you guys have given us in making our program so successful. And it even has your guys' new logo on it.
Well, thank you so much. And
Can I get a quick picture of you guys up there with it?
Thank you.
Here, can we get you? You guys are
Can you take that for? Oh, one more for you.
Yes, thank you so much. And anyone else would like to speak to the city council, please come forward. Welcome.
Council members, I'm Raul Granilla, pastor at Mercy Springs Church of the Nazarene. And let me begin with first off saying you all y'all are often in my prayers. Your job is tough, but you got this, okay? I wanted to let you know that tomorrow night at our church, we will be hosting once again an immigration workshop with Civic. We will have free resources for anybody who needs help with their immigration status. We will have lawyers on site and accredited representatives. This will be from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock tomorrow night at the Nazarene Church, which is on the corner of Santa Barbara and Mercy Springs, right there where the big baseball field is at. And we will have, like I said, lawyers there and representatives who will be able to help with citizenship, DACA renewal, permanent residency, just any questions you might have, even the rights, and giving out free red cards for those who want to know what their rights are. Because regardless of our status in this country, we are fortunate enough to be in a country that extends rights to human beings. And I think it's really important that we remember that. That being said, I also want to encourage those who kind of wonder about all of this and why we do this to recognize that things are complicated. Anybody who's done any kind of law knows that it's complicated. There's a reason the city has Mr. Vaughn sitting right there, because even the law of just running a city is complicated. And immigration law is no different. And anybody here, and most of us have probably dealt with legal things in one matter or another, whether it be from probate or just trying to figure out our rights. We learn very quickly that it can be scary. Imagine trying to do that if you don't even speak the language, or you don't know what your rights are, or you set yourself up in ways that maybe have made it more complicated. Everything is case by case when it comes to immigration law, and so we try to help people like that to understand this. And I say this because I want us all to take a second to recognize that life is complicated, that every one of us have different situations, long stories that brought us to the point that we are, to the very chairs that you sit in, to the very morning that we wake up. It's been a long journey that has got us there, step after complicated step, and intertwined with others. And we would do well, before we impose judgment upon others, to just take a second and listen to the stories of others so that we can know how they got there. I'm a firm believer that it's hard to hate up close. If you want to ruin your hatred for somebody, get to know them. And at the same time, I want to encourage people to not just listen to stories, but to share their stories. The community worries sometimes about the transparency of our city, right? Everybody's maybe leaned towards that belief that all politicians are crooked and the government is always doing something to take advantage of us. But to be fair, it's complicated. And so I would encourage you to share as many stories as you can with the people, to realize, and I know that in your busy schedules, and all of you have very busy schedules, sometimes it's hard to take the time to share all the things that are happening with the community. So try to be as transparent as you can. And I don't say that in an accusative manner, but just as an encouraging way to say, share with us, because we don't know what we don't know. And when we don't know something, our tendency is to fill that gap with the most horrible thing we can think of. And so share that. And at the same time, I would encourage the community, rather than making accusations, to recognize it's complicated. And when you do offer, and to be fair, many times I hear this city and the leaders offer explanations, that we would listen, that we would interpret with grace, and that we just practice being the people and working together, recognizing that we're all in this together. Yesterday, I don't think a single person in Los Banos breathed there after 1 o'clock that wasn't filled with smoke. My truck that I just washed was covered with ashes. But that happened to every single person in this community, from the homeless to the richest person. We all breathe the same air and have the same problems. At the end of the day, we're all in this together and equally. So let's listen to each other and continue to do that. Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much. Anyone else, please come forward. You're welcome to come forward.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and the staff. My name is Blanche George, and I live in the downtown area. I wanted to speak to you today. Just very briefly, I do want to let you know I did place before you 2 letters that were received by us. One name is covered up, but both of them benefited for things that you guys have put in place. Your support of the shelter and its fabulous hero persons that work there. It's not easy to hang your heart up and to work at that place. Additionally, not only that, their heart does sink as the animals rotate in and out and rotate in, and it's a tough job. But as we work on the programs that you guys have put forth and trust in us, thank you to Sergeant Ivan Mendez for handling, all the animals and everything that he does. So this first letter, I'm not going to read it verbatim, but it does, Miss Rich and Marge, they do so appreciate for you guys helping with the CAT program, and the situation of caring and educating the individuals, which is really crucial when it comes to situations like this, and we all come across them. But you'll read it for yourself. The second one is from a single lady that she had a situation that was very overwhelming, and she wanted to thank not only Sergeant Mendez, but wanted to also thank really truly the shelter, and also the shelter that works very hard to make sure that there's rescues that accept the animals and pass them on. This is crucial, so when you read the letters, they're very sincere in their thanks. I wish I could fully express to you on how grateful that they really are. But I wanted to spend the rest of my time just briefly in the issue really is when we talk about spay and neuter and vaccines and stuff, and there'll be some great announcements coming up about all of that. What I wanted to talk to you about is the bottleneck that is happening, that we can't solve all by ourselves, but together we can. And that is veterinarians. You know, we have a large veterinarian business, and they handle large animals. And then we have 2 others. We lost the third. It is a special place, and especially the Menifees, and we'll never forget them. But it's perfect to be able to recruit a veterinarian for that space if ever it comes. And I know Mr. Mayor and some of you really know the Menifee family very well. And but the other 2, you're looking at VCA back in the day. It had 3 veterinarians. It's now down to 1. We also have Dr. Florence, and he's doing his best too. But in our population of close to 50,000, we should have 6. We don't, but it's not our fault. It's no one's fault because nationwide, there is a shortage of veterinarians. And when that shortage happens, then there's other things that trickle down that it's really no one's fault. It's just that we have to find a solution. And my thought is this, and I'll read a little bit, is that I'd like for you all to think about a type of recruitment to veterinarians. Either we steal them from other towns or we bring them up on our own. But when you send representatives to represent our cities, maybe we could have a progressive recruitment letters to give to potential, possibly veterinarians. And we're looking at this. Let me read this. So we could do online recruitment platforms, placing it on our web pages that we are looking for them. I know that VCA is also trying to look for a veterinarian. We have to utilize some specialized recruitment platforms and additionally then work on that to attract a veterinarian, that pet-friendly city that we are. We just have to put some good marketing behind that. We can reach out to local veterinarian associations and the professional networks to identify potential candidates. Whether or not we work with them and then we forgive their student loans or we work in other different ways to get them here, we can do that. And that will lighten the burden that we truly are feeling by residents that talk to us, right? But we are very thankful. There's not one person that has ever said that they're not thankful to you guys. And thank you to the police department and Sergeant Ivan Mendez that watches over and code enforcement. These guys are fabulous people, and I can't speak. I don't know the correct words to speak about how we just finished, well, we're not finished with kitten season, but it was tough. There was kittens all over. And thank goodness for the rescues and others for helping. Thank you for your support. You guys are the instrument. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else, please come forward. I do not see or hear anyone coming forward. We do have some correspondence, and Lucy, would you like to read those? We do read any emails that come in to the city for the public forum, so go
Good
ahead.
evening. This letter for submission to the public forum for tonight's city council meeting is in response to the statements that were made in regards to the public forum letter I submitted for the August 6, 2025 city council meeting. The Los Banos City Airport with EnviroStore ID number 244500001 lists the airport site with a CalEnviro screen percentile score of 95 to 100%, the highest scores, means that an area, usually a census tract, ranks among the most environmentally burdened and vulnerable in California in the top 5% of impact statewide. Contamination has been identified in surface soils and shallow groundwater. Currently, as of 8/15/2025, no activities have been conducted by the City of Los Banos with regard to the recommendations set forth in the preliminary assessment by the EPA report of April 2001. Department of Toxic Substances Control, which is part of the California Environmental Protection Agency, considers that additional actions are required to complete risk characterization and needed remediation of hotspots identified in the preliminary assessment. While the EPA does not plan further federal action, local environmental concerns remain relevant. CalEnviro's screen currently lists the airport site as inactive, needs evaluation from the EPA report. The wording typically suggests a site isn't currently undergoing cleanup and still needs assessment. This means that the EPA determined it doesn't require federal Superfund intervention, but this does not mean the site is completely clean or safe. These are not rumors, as was previously stated at the August 6, 2025 City Council meeting, but facts that have been gathered from public records requests in accordance to the Freedom of Information Act. If the City of Los Banos has records that contradict these facts, please feel free to share them. The city clerk has my email address, and I will gladly accept any records that show contradiction to the information already received from the Department of Toxic Substances Control. Thank you, Julie Creighton. The second letter I have is related to the food truck ordinance. Did you want to hold that till that item?
Yes.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Okay, I'm going to make a couple of statements. I made this statement at that one meeting. The airport does have contamination. We all agree with that. We're not fighting that part of it. I think the first letter was stating that it was in the groundwater for our wells, and that's what I was really stressing. The groundwater back in the 80s was like 5 to 10 feet below surface, and our wells go 1,500 to 2,000 feet below a blue clay layer. So our water for our city wells is really deep, and the contamination that is from pesticides at the airport where they used to fill the airplanes in one area does not enter our groundwater for our wells. It's probably in the groundwater right underneath the airport, but that still has to be seen. So that was the only thing I was making a comment about at that last meeting that we were at. And then with the chromium-6, we are following the state mandate. That's why you all got letters in your mail, and we're talking about it a lot. The criteria has changed from the state from 50 parts per billion to 10, and that's when we no longer were in compliant. So we are following a plan with the state to become compliant. The only thing is chromium-6. You've heard a lot in the news years ago about chromium-6 contamination in water wells and stuff. The chromium-6 we have in our area is a natural occurring chromium-6. It's not a chemical. It's all along the western mountains, the west side of the valley. So every city that is along the west side of the valley that takes well water has chromium-6 in their water. The east side of the valley, like Merced, doesn't have the problem. So we're working on that to get that out. So it's something that's been in the water for thousands of years in this area since the city has been taking groundwater. So I want to make that very clear, and we are working on it. And we want to keep everybody safe. That's our number one concern. We've been to Sacramento 3 times about it. We've talked to all our legislators, Senate and Assembly about it. We're trying to get money to help fix it. So we're trying to go through the process. So we are working on it, and I appreciate everybody's comment, and I appreciate the letter. So with that, we'll move to item 7, consideration and approval of the consent agenda. Like I said before, item 7I, we would like to remove that from the consent agenda. Is there any other item on the consent agenda after Lucy announces the consent agenda? I guess we got to do that first. Go ahead, Lucy.
Items on the consent agenda are as follows. Warrant numbers 253002 through 253548 in the amount of $3,359,970.68. City Council meeting minutes for August 6, 2025. City Council adjourned meeting minutes for August 7, 2025. City Council special meeting minutes for August 14, 2025. City Council special meeting minutes for August 18, 2025. City Council special meeting minutes for August 25th, 2025. City Council Resolution Number 6975, approving the acceptance of a $14,874 UC Davis Koretz Shelter Medicine Grant in connection with California for All Animals Program and amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget by increasing the appropriation amount for expenditures and revenues in the amount of $14,874. City Council Resolution Number 6976, approving amendment to the Joint Powers Agreement of the Central San Joaquin Valley Risk Management Authority. Item I has been removed for later consideration. City Council Resolution Number 6978, authorizing the Chief of Police to sign a memorandum of understanding with the County of Merced for the County Violence Interruption and Prevention Emergency Response Team. City Council Resolution Number 6979, approving parcel map number 2023-01, which includes dedications of public utility easements as shown on the map and a 20-foot widening along Ward Road and Ward Court, portions of APNs 084030004, 084030047, and 084030048 for Gula LLC. City Council Resolution Number 6980, accepting the Animal Shelter Rehabilitation Project as complete and authorizing the filing of a notice of completion with the Merced County Recorder for Taylor Backhoe Service, Inc. City Council Resolution Number 6981, authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders for equipment and vehicles through the cooperative procurement contract with Sourcewell as follows. Dump truck from Gibbs International, Inc. for $147,822.74. Compact loader from Holt of California for $112,501.93. Wheel loader with bucket from Holt of California for $217,629,000.49. Backhoe from Holt of California for $169,097.32. Generator from ES Energy Systems for $138,968.78, and a tractor with triple flail mower from Tiger Mowers, Inc. for $271,410.03. City Council Resolution Number 6982, authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an agreement with EC America, Inc., a subsidiary of Emix Group, for the purchase of Procore project management software and amend the fiscal year 2025-26 budget by increasing expenditures in the amount of $53,177. And the items are to be approved as submitted.
Okay, is there any items that the city council would like to remove for further discussion, or a motion to approve minus items 7I?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda minus 7I.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. As stated, any further questions or comments? Not hearing any, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, ayes have it. So now let's go ahead and let's go to 7I. So who's going to take this one?
I will, Mayor.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and community. Today I'm presenting the city's updated policy on the discontinuance of residential water service, developed in alignment with Senate Bill 998 and our commitment to equitable, transparent service delivery. Senate Bill 998, signed into law in 2018, mandated that all water suppliers adopt a formal shutoff policy by February 1st, 2020. This policy must have been accessible in English, Spanish, and any other language spoken by at least 10% of the community. It also requires annual reporting to the State Water Resources Control Board and public posting of shutoff statistics on our city website. To inform you, we have not had any shutoffs since 2020, so we've been in compliance. The legislation prioritizes consumer protections. Disconnections cannot occur until an account is at least 60 days delinquent. Notices must be issued at least 7 business days in advance and must include clear details, account status, balance owed, deadlines, and available appeal or payment options. If the account holder is not the occupant, we are required to notify residents directly. Water service cannot be discontinued until under these 3 conditions: a certified health condition verified by a physician, financial hardship defined as income below 20% of the federal poverty level or participation in qualified aid programs, and a willingness to enter into an alternative payment arrangement. All of these forms are in your packet. All of these forms will be in English and Spanish and available to all of our customers. Our staff must make a good faith effort to reach customers before disconnection, including phone calls, written notices, and property visits if necessary. All communications must be, as I stated, bilingual and include essential information as the amount due, the deadlines, appeals process, and payment options. Customers may dispute charges through a structured escalation process, beginning with city staff, advancing to the finance director, and ultimately to the city manager if needed. This ensures fairness and accountability at every level. Reconnection fees are set at $50 during regular hours and $150 after hours. To support residents, late fees may be waived once every 12 months. These measures balance fiscal responsibility with compassion. Resuming disconnections within the bounds of the Senate Bill 998 encourages timely payments and stabilization of revenues. The Finance Department will continue to monitor impacts, ensure compliance, and support vulnerable households through proactive outreach and flexible arrangements. Staff's recommendation tonight is to adopt the resolution approving the city's discontinuation of residential water service policy. This policy reflects our legal obligations, our values of equity and transparency, and our commitment to serving the residents of Los Banos with integrity. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Okay, any questions for me?
Yeah, so many. So it says under the restoration of service, late fees, it says waived once every 12 months, but then you said late fees may be waived. So the policy does state that may be waived?
Maybe,
Okay, so it's either or, right? So just up to our discretion with that.
yes.
Okay, good. Good for me.
Any other questions? Okay, then there's no other questions, and we'll need a motion to approve City Council Resolution 6977, approving and adopting a policy for the discontinuation of residential water service for non-payment in compliance with Senate State Bill 998.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 6977 as read by title.
Second.
I have a motion and a second as stated. Any further questions or comments? Not hearing any, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Okay, moving to item 8. This item is a public hearing. If you challenge the proposed action as described here in the court, you may be limited to raising only those issues or someone else that you raised or someone else raised at the public hearing described herein or in written correspondence delivered to the city at or prior to the public hearing. So basically, during the public hearing, if it's not raised up during the public hearing or in a written to us, then in the future, you can't raise up those, because this is going to be heard twice, since it's an ordinance. For number 1209, and this is amending Article 36 of Title 9, Chapter 3 of the Los Banos Municipal Code regarding mobile food vending. So at this time, anyone that would like to speak on this item, the mobile food vending, you're welcome to come forward. You have 5 minutes to speak. And, but first we do that, we'll go to Stacy. So excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. We'll have staff enter the item, introduce the item, and then we'll go to public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. So just a bit of background on this item. This item was originally brought forward to the City Council for consideration and direction after the staff had a stakeholder meeting on May 27th, 2025, where staff received key feedback from the stakeholders, mobile food vendors, where they identified challenges. The challenges that were identified were the inability to use furniture, tables, chairs, canopies, any temporary type furniture with our mobile food truck businesses, the need for flexibility in how food trucks can be oriented or repositioned on their existing approved sites, concerns over the high cost of permits and associated fees, limited signage allowances under the current ordinance, and expressed frustrations with illegal vending. Then on June 4th, the City Council directed staff to prepare an amendment to the city's mobile food vendor ordinance and to provide provisions to allow the use of temporary furniture and to establish a process and standards for a mobile food truck park. On August 13th, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the ordinance to the City Council, and that is what is provided for you in your packet tonight. So essentially, the proposed ordinance has two main changes. It's providing for temporary furniture, which was expressly prohibited previously in our current ordinance, and then it also provides for the opportunity for mobile food truck parks. The proposed ordinance amendment also defines all-weather surface, and that becomes applicable for food truck parks. So all-weather surface is defined as a hard, durable surface capable of supporting vehicular and pedestrian traffic in all weather conditions. Acceptable materials include asphalt, concrete, pavers, or other engineered materials approved by the city engineer or community and economic development director that provide equivalent durability, drainage, and dust control. Decomposed granite, bare soil, or similar untreated surfaces do not qualify as weather surfaces, all-weather surfaces, and gravel may be permitted as an all-weather surface only if it is treated, compacted, and maintained in a manner that prevents dust, displacement, and rutting, and is subject to review and approval by the city engineer or community and economic development director. So we needed to ensure that we had a base definition of what it was meant when we refer to all-weather surface, and we wanted to ensure that it would be accessible and that we would be mitigating any adverse effects with non-paved areas or non-improved lots. It also allows for the use of A-frame signs in accordance with our current sign ordinance, which does also require these A-frame signs, temporary signs, to be put away at the end of each business day. The sign ordinance has a size requirement of 36 inches by 24 inches. It talks about where they can be located. There needs to be at least 4-foot clearance for ADA accessibility, and all of those rules are within our sign ordinance. And so this section of the code points to that, which all other businesses follow. And then it provides for temporary structures. And within that area of the proposed ordinance amendment, it sets up that it would permit for up to 2 temporary canopies or shade sails not exceeding 120 square feet each and must be removed at the end of the day. A maximum of 3 tables providing seating for a total of 12 people and must be removed at the end of each day. And no permanent structures will be permitted. Canopies and shade sails need to be properly secured with stakes or weights. It requires the location of the temporary structures. Again, that's canopies, shade sails, tables, and chairs. Those need to be reviewed by the Community and Economic Development Director through a site plan. And it's through that site plan process where staff will evaluate safety and access. We are going to be looking for any conflicts with vehicular traffic, with pedestrian access, and making sure that that temporary furniture, wherever it's to be located, will be safe. And it must be in good condition. So that temporary furniture must be in good condition and free from weather damage, tears, or disrepair. And any minor variations, such as maybe the orientation of the truck, whether it's facing east-west or facing north-south, those minor variations would be subject to approval from the Community and Economic Development Director. All right. Then the proposed ordinance amendment also provides and establishes an area for food truck parks. It establishes that multiple food truck parking areas would be allowed in zones where mobile food vendors are allowed. And that is specifically only in the industrial and commercial zoning districts, subject to a conditional use permit. That requires a public hearing process with the Planning Commission, and it requires a public hearing inviting the 300-foot radius, property owners within a 300-foot radius of the project site to attend a public hearing. It would be conducted entirely on a paved or all-weather surface, so back to the beginning a couple slides ago with that definition, and not within any public right-of-way. It shall not create any demand for additional parking that cannot be accommodated by existing parking area. So it needs to be able, if it's downtown, it needs to be able to meet the demand with maybe public parking. And it shall demonstrate, that there is sufficient parking. So that'll be a part of that conditional use permit process. And it shall not interfere with pedestrian and vehicle traffic. And it must be ADA accessible, Americans with Disability Act accessible. Thanks, Joe. It also shall conform to all applicable building, electrical, fire, plumbing, engineering, solid waste, wastewater, and water quality requirements. The operator of the food truck park is required to obtain and maintain a city business license. Then each mobile food vendor operating within the park would be required to obtain and maintain a mobile food vendor permit, a city business license, and a health permit. The conditional use permit may require installation of permanent features, and the proposed ordinance goes into the specifics regarding that, but that would be maybe permanent restrooms, permanent furniture, what would be necessary to operate that food truck park. And the city does reserve the right to inspect and require modifications for safety or compliance. So staff is recommending that the City Council would introduce and waive the first reading of ordinance number 1209 to amend the mobile food vendor ordinance. This is a public hearing, so we are asking to open the public hearing, receive public comment, and consider introducing and waiving the first reading of this ordinance. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Stacy. So I'll go ahead and open the public hearing now, and anyone who'd like to speak in favor or against this ordinance, please come forward. Please state your name.
Hello, my name is Evan Gonzalez, a food truck owner in the city of Los Banos, California, La Jalisciense 2, located at 402 Washington Avenue, and I'm here to speak in favor of the new ordinance, and I'm grateful for you guys to consider the change in the ordinance because as a disabled person, that's what the one thing I didn't like when I first opened my permits is that I felt like people in my same situation couldn't sit down and eat and they all had to stand. So now as a person that understands their situations and feelings, I think it's nice to you guys consider this for my fellow disabled people and also for my fellow food truck owners because now we have a little more attraction to our businesses because I feel that beforehand food trucks weren't as attractive because people don't like to wait around for their food. Now we have available seating and then tables to eat. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. I did send a letter. I just want to say thank you. We have come a long way. And I would want for you guys to approve, to change the ordinance. The emergency change has been great for my customers. It fills my heart to see them sitting down and just enjoying a quick lunch. I know I have never mentioned this before, but as a lymphedema patient, primary lymphedema patient of my left leg, it's also very important for me just to, get to a place and be able to sit down and rest my leg. I've been battling lymphedema for the past 15 years. And, I understand Ivan and other people that I see with not maybe the same problem that I have, but with other disabilities. And it's just very important for me to have my customers, sit down and not to have them stand or just wait in the car. So I would really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart for this. And I also sent a letter. I'm also feeling so sick. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, once again, Carlos Flores, District 1. I actually have got to know the food vendors. They're really nice people. And the thing is though, they're really hardworking. In order to have any type of business, right, you have to work hard for what you got, especially, right? And the thing is that just speaking to the food vendors and just talking about them, what the expense is just to get it going, right? And it's thousands of dollars, right, before you start making money or profit throughout the month. So at the same time, we see that there is a lot of progress going on with this new policy for the food vendors or the ordinance. But the thing is that we hope that you guys really take this into consideration for the food vendors, since they work very, very hard, and I'm sure they work from the morning to the very, very night to be able to clean up and start the next day all over again. I've helped out food vendors in the past, and it's a lot of work. By the time they finish, they're really exhausted. But at the same time, I hope you guys take this into consideration, because the sun here is really, really hot compared to the other side, right? We're gonna have a rainy season pretty soon. And I hope we don't have a rainy season like the East or Texas have had, right? If not, we're in a world of trouble. But the thing is that it's nice for people to be able just to go down. Most of the time, most people just sit down for like 15, 20 minutes just to eat, and then they're gone. You know what I mean? And so for you guys, even just reworking the ordinance, trying to change the ordinance, and then having public hearings to hear the public on this ordinance. I just want to commend you guys for coming up with this, Stacy as well, Elms, for putting in all the work. And so now we're just waiting to see what the votes are going to be, to see if we're going to have progress on this or it's going to stay stagnant the way it is. But I just want to say thank you for this ordinance. I think it's a really written well ordinance, and I think it will benefit not only the city council, but the food vendors as well, and hopefully encourage more people to start their businesses as well. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else, please come forward. Is there anyone against the ordinance? Please come forward. Okay, Lucy, would you like to read the letter that came in, please?
I think it's from the lady who spoke earlier. Is it
Is that?
Nineveh Villagomez? Do you want me to read this? Okay. Dear council members, I am writing to seek your support in approving the new ordinance regarding food trucks, tables, chairs, and canopies. Our goal is to enhance the dining experience for our customers. We want to reassure you that we are not competing with any local restaurants. Our aim is simply to create a comfortable space for our customers to enjoy a quick lunch. It's important for us to offer an inviting environment. We fully understand that the need for compliance and are committed to ensuring that everyone is taken down at the end of the day. We have made significant strides in our operations and are committed to adhering to all regulations. However, we need your support to ensure that we can operate without the consent fear of being cited. This ordinance is vital for our business's sustainability. The emergency ordinance allowing us to have tables, chairs, and canopies has made a significant difference for our customers. We kindly ask for your continued support to solidify these provisions and ensure that we can maintain these improvements. Your backing is crucial in making this a lasting reality for our community. Thank you everyone for your support. We have come a long way.
Okay, thank you, Lucy. Anyone else would like to speak before I close the public hearing? Okay, I do not see or hear anyone coming forward, so I'll close the public hearing and turn it to the city council for any comments. And before, I'd like to just start off, I want to thank Councilmember Chavez because you went to many of these vendors, even before the new policy went into place, to listen to them and speak to them and see what was going on. And he brought that back to the city. Those kind of things are very important, so I want to thank you for doing that. But is there any other comments by any of the council?
The only question I had was, is there a timeline and any additional cost to approve the site plans, or is that just part of the normal process already included?
No, staff is just going to include that as a part of the permit process.
Okay.
The mobile food vendors currently have to annually renew their permit, and that'll just be absorbed in that process.
Okay, great.
I had a question. You were talking about when you had the mobile park, truck parks and stuff like. So what we do at the Friday night farmers market, and what we, do they have? We're gonna have to go through that process ourselves too.
So with a special event like the farmer's market, it's exempted, it's carved out in the code to allow mobile food trucks.
Okay.
This would be either on private property or it could be on publicly owned, so the city could also conduct, and yes, we would have to go through some sort of conditional use permit process, just like the private sector would have to on private property.
Okay. Any comments, Marcus, or?
No.
Well, you see how the process works at the city. I know it's very interesting when you're not involved in government and you see what the process has to go through with first readings and waiving of the first readings and all this stuff and going to the planning commission. But all this is part of government to try to make it fair for everybody that's doing the same type of job or same type of business. So there's not different rules for different people. And so I know it can be frustrating. I'm glad, I appreciate staff, I appreciate city manager, interim city manager Gary Breezy for coming up with the policy that has been in place since it first came to our attention. And, but this is a process we have to go through. It's great to hear from the people because this is what it's all about. I know we're accessible and we want to do what's right for the community. And I'm glad we're moving this forward and making a difference in a lot of people's lives. It just has to be fair for everybody, and I think this does it. So I appreciate that. So what I need before the city council is a.
Yeah, I
You want to
do
say
have a
something?
comment now.
Okay, sure.
After all that being said, yeah, I feel your guys' pain takes forever too. But, that's just government. I'm learning it, but it shouldn't take this long, but it's kind of the rules, sorry. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's government. The reason why it goes slow is so you can't get anything over anybody without you finding out about it. That's why takes so much time. You have to notice people, you have to do that. So there's a reason for it, but it does get frustrating. Okay, with that, we would need a motion to waive the first reading of ordinance number 1209.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to waive the first reading and introduction of ordinance 1209 as read by title.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And now we would need a motion to approve. Introduce. Thank you, ordinance number 1209.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 1209 as read by title.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to introduce ordinance 1209 as stated. Any further questions or comments? And this will take a roll call vote since it's an ordinance.
Sanders?
Yes.
Chavez?
Yes.
Lewis? Amabil?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, everyone that spoke. We appreciate it. This will come before the city council one more time for the second reading and the second vote at our next meeting. That's the way it works. Okay, I appreciate everybody, and now we'll move to item 9, was designation of voting delegate and alternate for the 2025 League of California Cities, LCC Annual Conference and Expo being held October 8th through 10th, 2025 in Long Beach, California. So every city has a vote for the state conference, and so we need to designate someone to cast that vote. Questions or comments? Let's see. That's what it, go ahead.
So for those attending the conference this year, we'd like to nominate you, Mr. Mayor, as our primary delegate. I thought it was,
No.
oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Lewis, and then Minnie, sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, I was waiting for you to say.
Well, that's right, it says that right there, huh? Okay, so that's what it looks like will work for everybody. The designated Councilmember Lewis and Finance Director Moreno. And this will have to be by motion, so we need that motion.
What do we motion on this one? I'll make a motion to designate Councilmember Lewis as primary delegate and Finance Director Moreno as secondary.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second as stated. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Motion carried. Okay, we'll go into our city departments report, and we'll start with Community Economic Development Director, Stacy Souza Elms.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. So I do want to bring to the attention of the council that we have a request for qualifications out that is due back from qualified entities. And this is for our civic plan, our civic center plan for the reuse of the police annex into a development services center. And these are due back tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then the notice of award is anticipated to be presented to the city council with whichever architect and contracting team that meets the RFQ and is ultimately selected. That notice of award would be potentially on October 15th. So pretty exciting that we're going to be able to move forward with at least that component. And based on the direction from the city council, we are working on analyzing the components for the old police station as well. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions for Stacy? Okay, Finance Director Moreno,
Nothing to report tonight.
thank you. Let's see, we have, Brandon, you have anything to report, Fire Department?
We are receiving our Type 6 brush truck. It should be here late today, maybe early tomorrow. I think it might be back by now, but other than that, it's a busy weekend, busy couple of weeks, and I'd like to thank the council for all your support and receiving this new brush truck. Other than that,
Tell us about the fire at Moraga Avenue.
I was actually off yesterday, so it was a simple brush fire that basically burned up some grass, and they just let it burn out so that they wouldn't have to go back. And that was a county call, but we did go out and support it in a tender operation. But for the most part, it was contained rather quickly for the area it was in.
Yeah, when that wind changed, we really could feel it in the town.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Human Resources Director, Lucy, do you have anything to report?
I have no report.
Okay, thank you. And let's see, Parks and Recreation Director, Joe Helm.
Yeah, so I wanted to highlight to everybody that our Salute to Seniors tickets are on sale. This is our 40th year hosting the Salute to Seniors event. It'll be on the last Friday of September on 9/26. As part of that, she stuck it out to the end, but I want to congratulate Teresa for her Employee of the Month recognition. But Teresa is a huge part of Salute to Seniors, a huge part of Parks and Rec. I don't think anybody has gone through Rec without being trained by Teresa, even though she's a part-timer. She's very knowledgeable with us and and very grateful to have her on. We're also working through a number of projects. You'll see some movement at the pickleball courts, shade structures, several other parks projects. We are hosting a Pioneer Complete Streets public meeting on the 9th, so next week, and that'll be an update on that project. That'll be hosted at the community center on the 9th at 6 p.m. We submitted for a couple grants, one for the canal trail through the San Joaquin River Exchange Water Authority, which is the same as the solar light one we received, and that's for this time overlay of the pathway and some additional trees. We also applied for a Cal Recycle grant that we've applied for pretty regularly, so I'd like to thank Public Works for that. It's for funding for a staff employee with solid waste. We also submitted the final closure and post-closure maintenance plan for the landfill, so we are moving forward with that. If you recall the July presentation there, we had an August 31st deadline, so thank you to Sarah with BSK for that. And then you approved it tonight, but the animal shelter had its notice of completion. I just want to congratulate Sergeant Mendez on that, and exciting to hear it's in operation and good to go. So. Thank you.
And the date for, because I know you did Public Works too.
Sorry, I merged them.
Interim, also Public Works Director. What's the date again on the Pioneer?
9/9, September 9th, 6 p.m. Community Center.
Community Center. Anyone that would like to learn about the design of Pioneer and 165, what's going to happen with that corridor as we develop the Pioneer corridor. Make your way down to the community center on 9/9 at 6 p.m. Thank you, Joe. And let's see, Sergeant Ivan, do you have anything with the police department to report?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. On the hiring front, we have 4 candidates scheduled to attend the academy in mid-September. We have 1 candidate in backgrounds who is attending the Stockton Area Police Academy. And then we have 1 lateral candidate in backgrounds from Fresno Police Department. Upcoming events, this Saturday we have 2 of our officers being honored at the Arts Council for Hometown Heroes, newly retired Sergeant Nathan Bowling and Sergeant Weens. Manteca Police Department will be doing a tour of our fine facility on September 8th as they prepare to build their own facility. Animal Shelter grand opening on Tuesday, September 9th. Reminder on that. And our administration team will be at the County Chiefs meeting on September 10th. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Okay, and the grand opening for the animal shelters at 10 a.m.?
Yes.
10 a.m.
Yes, Mayor.
on the 9th, correct?
Tuesday, the 9th.
Tuesday the 9th, okay. Thank you very much. Any questions? Thank you very much, Sergeant. And let's see,
Questions for all that, right?
yeah. Let's see, we'll go to our city manager report.
Yeah, but you might answer some right now. You usually give a lot of info.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. First of all, Mayor, I apologize. I continue to try to give you more work every time, and I accidentally or mistakenly said you were going to the league conference and we're going to be our delegate, so I apologize.
No problem.
The Development Services Center, the remodel of the annex building is really significant to us at City Hall and should be for the remainder of the community. It's basically the doubling of our footprint at City Hall. So we are going to be able to expand all of our services, make them more efficient, and it's going to be a great day. I won't be here. I will be here unofficially to see it happen because it's going to be a neat project. But we're going to be able to take all the people on the left side of the house and move them over to the annex. We're going to expand the footprint here for some of our services internally. So it's a very long overdue project, and we look forward to doing that. And we're really excited that it's closing on tomorrow because once we determine who the contractor, that vendor is going to be, it really goes into a much faster motion than it is right now. So we're looking forward to that. Got an opportunity to drive by Shaughnessy Park today, Joe. It looks good. The concrete surrounding the perimeter of the park looks good. They're starting to install some of the park appliances and should be done here in the next few months. So it's coming together nicely. And I think that is it. Oh, yeah, September 9th at 10 for the animal shelter grand opening. And Ivan, I'm sorry, Minnie declined your budget amendment request to paint a picture of your face on the side of the building. That's all I have.
I second it, and I second that.
I don't know, maybe we should look at that budget amendment again.
Right. Last question.
Sure.
All right. Hey, so, Articulate Road, you're still working on that, right? That construction. People keep asking me, when's that going to be open? When's that going to be open? What's the latest on that?
So we actually just put a post out on our social media page. You'll see it at the City of Los Banos Instagram page. It's actually very thorough. Part of the intersection is open. The north and southbound lanes of Ortiga are now open, but they've closed the east and westbound lanes getting into Ortiga at the moment because now they're repaving that. That should be done much sooner and quicker than the other part of that, this first half of the project. We anticipate it'll be open in the next month or two, November, and then it'll be an all-way stop. And while we wait for the traffic signal lights to come in, that'll be here about March, and then they'll install the traffic lights. And phase one of the Pioneer Complete Streets project will be done, and we'll be moving on. Joe, you want to add anything?
I was just going to add the dates. We're expecting the four-way stop by November 24th, and there is some leeway with the signal's arrival, but we're expecting that by March 10th of 2026. But you'll see an operational four-way stop by mid-November there.
My other question I get a lot is, when are they going to fix the roads? When are they going to fix the roads? So the ones that are 152 and 165, I tell them that's all Caltrans, but they ask about other roads in the city. That's why if you can give an update on that, maybe.
Yeah, we have a phase one and a phase two of 2026 street rehabs in design. Phase one features I Street as well as a number of smaller residential streets like local streets in the Meadowlands area, a few others, Fallbrook. We are updating those designs. The ADA corners have been backed out of them, and so we're looking to add those back in. The phase two is just entering its design, and it will be focused in spring 2026, and that includes a larger range of streets. We're also going to initiate the 2027 design, so that way we're in position for those to go out in fall of 2026.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, just so
Of
people
course.
know, yeah, we do hear you, because people are like, hey, man, messing up my car, my alignment, tires and all kinds of stuff, and it's rough. So, we are aware, and, we need to work with the department heads here and city manager, of course, and everyone else to get those done. But that is something that we are cognizant of. So just going to take some time to catch up. We're playing catch up.
Yeah, just to add to that, we're looking at between 6 and 8 million in investment between those three phases, so it's pretty substantial.
Yep, many let us give you extra money in the budget, so yeah.
There you go.
Remember that. And then the other ones that I get are, and this is all time, it's code enforcement. I don't know if there's anything we could do, Sergeant Mendez, with increasing code enforcement or more, well, if Mini can release some more money or something, but it's cars that are basically just cobwebs everywhere. I've emailed you guys a lot, garbage cans left out, people not taking care of their stuff, blocking sidewalks and all kinds of stuff. So just keep note of that, because that's one thing. Oh, the other thing I get is speed bumps. People keep asking me, I got cars that speed down my street, what do I got to do for that? And they ask for that, how to address that. I think there's a process, forms they fill out, and they got to get signatures and stuff like that, correct?
That's a great point. There should be a social media post coming out on that pretty soon too. The whole entire application process. You can find it at the police department's webpage, and it's the speed cushion request policy, I believe it is. It's on the left-hand column. Once you get on the PD's webpage, you go to losbanos.org, navigate to the police department. Once you get there, it should be on the left. Yes, we do need a community facilitator or a neighborhood facilitator to walk through that process. But if they call me at 827-7000, extension 2440, I'd be happy to help navigate them to where they need to go.
That was actually, at all the Parkside chats, that was a comment that came up on all of them many times, and which brought it to the attention to put it on the webpage to show how the policy works. So that's good things come out of that. Okay, with that, City Council members report. District 1 is vacant for a few more weeks, it looks like. And we will be going to Evan Sanders, District 2. Evan, what do you have to report?
Just a couple quick things. Happy to see the food truck ordinance moving on. I know it moves really slow, and it's frustrating from a perspective of, it feels like things that everybody kind of agrees on should move faster, but everything has to be worked the same, whether it's something that everybody agrees on or it has to move that way, because if there's something that people don't agree on, then it just has to have the same process. I think everybody's hit on that already. But the point that I want to make is that it came up here about food trucks back in May, I think, that this was an issue that people here wanted changed. And as soon as this council heard about it, we started working on it. And it's been continually worked on until we've gotten to this point where nobody spoke out against it. I think everybody's happy. And that's, I think, what this council is really here for. So if there's something you want done in this city, come to a council meeting and let us know, and it's going to get done. I mean, I think we're all very much on the same page with trying to do what's best for the community and what the community wants. So I just want everybody to understand that we're doing everything we can, and that's a great example of it. I went by Snow Goose Park. Those canopies look really cool. I really like that we're putting shade in our parks, because that's one thing. My kids are grown now, but when they were little, we often couldn't go to the parks in the summer because it was just so dang hot. But if you get a chance to go over to Snow Goose Park, way over on the east side of town, it's not quite done yet. I think it looks like probably another couple weeks. But the biggest shade canopies I've ever seen in my life are being constructed at that park over the play structures, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm really happy to see that. Anywhere that can get kids outside and gathering and be comfortable is really awesome. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Evan. Marcus Chavez, District 3.
Yeah, I mean, just going off what Evan said, I like to see those metal slides come back where we get nice and hot in the summer, build character. Those merry-go-rounds, you just go as fast as you can till you fell off, and yeah, you got hurt, but you walked it off. But anyways, no, I'm just joking. But those are the good old days. Everything Evan said, especially goes down to, you talk about the new ordinance and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, will everything come through? Yeah, some will, some won't. It just depends what it is, and it just depends because, we didn't get a lot of people that came and were against, but it depends on what comes up. You might get a lot of opposition to certain things, but I mean, definitely the process is here so we can, listen and try to make what's the best decision and taking everything into account with all the districts in the entire city. So that's a good thing. That's all I got to say for now, Mayor.
Great. Thank you. And District 4, Deborah Lewis has an excused absence, and we'll see her at our next meeting. And I have a few things to say here. So we've been running around the city doing a lot of things, and the history tour that was a few weeks ago, about 75 people attended. It was really good. Dan Nelson did a great job. Art Council and American Museum Society put it on. They did a great job. It was very impressive, learned a lot. I met with two students, one from San Diego State, one from Penn State, that were working on a federal grant about accepting solar projects in the Central Valley. And I thought, wow, what a way to spend money federally. But anyway, they're working on this federal grant, and they had to interview people that are elected officials that were in areas that, as you can see around us, we have a few solar projects, and of course the battery project that was coming up before us. So I gave them the ins and outs, what we went through and what the people thought about it, and my version of it. And two young girls, very smart girls, flew all the way out from Penn State to, they're both, the one flew out to interview a few people here in the Central Valley. We met with Esmeralda Soria, our assembly person, at a city meeting with city staff, and going over grants and updates, and she gave us a lot of updates, what's going on, talking about the budget of the state. And of course, we told her what we were doing here at the city and encouraged her to, of course, follow any grant proposals that we might be able to get in the future. The state's budget is pretty tight this year, but hopefully there'll be some monies that we can apply for through her office. Also had a meeting, a 2x3 meeting. It's 2 city council members and 3 school board members a couple of weeks back. And at that meeting, we discussed future school sites. This is the second meeting about that. We want everybody to be on the same page so the city knows, even though it might be a development 20 years away, we know there has to be a school in this area. So everybody's thinking the same thing at the same time. So that went really well. We had the grand opening of Walmart a week ago, very impressive. They're doing a very good job out there. They donated money to our police department and to other nonprofits. and they have a little bit more work to do on the opening of the east side of their building. I think it's mostly for pickup and delivery, but they have completely changed that store, and so you can go take a look at it. We appreciate the folks at Walmart. Last Saturday, I went to the American Filipino Association Queens of Queens dinner that was here, held in Los Banos. It was at the community center. It was well attended. Great bunch, great people, I tell you. Their customs and how they organized everything. I got to crown the queen. It was very, very nice. Actually got to dance with the queen too. So it was quite a night, and I really appreciate everything they do for our community and appreciate the invitation. MCAG, a couple of weeks ago, we authorized a letter to be sent to Caltrans from Merced County. So there's these funds that come down every 4 years from Caltrans, from the state. They're called SHOP funds. And let's see, that is State Highway Operation and Protection Program, I think, what SHOP stands for. And every 4 years, they release these funds to every county. It goes to them. Our county goes to Merced County Association of Governments. Each county has an association of governments. And so that money then is distributed throughout all the cities and the county for mostly road projects. It does other things, but it's mostly road projects. So as you know, they're raising the dam, and they're also doing seismic work on the dam. And it was proposed that our SHOP money for Merced County be used to raise Highway 152 over by San Luis Dam, which we're totally against because that would take all our money. I think the project is around 200, 300 million? No, the dam project's $1 billion, but just the highway. I think I read it's like $300 million to raise the highway 30 feet on the backside where you see water on both sides of 152. And they want to take our, when we got our last SHOP funds, it was 159 million for Merced County. They want to take that money and use it for that. Well, it's not our project. Yes, it is in Merced County, but it's not our project. So we're against that. That would probably take two cycles of funding. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. But I suggested that they start cutting that, go up 30 feet and start cutting that highway in the side of the mountain like they did Altamont right now. Let's not wait and then close lanes and everything like in the future. But it's the state. So we sent that letter out. And then I met with Adam Gray, and for a few years now, I learned about a problem that Merced County has. So for Medicare, and especially people on Social Security, the way the federal government does a formula to pay providers, hospitals, doctors, facilities, if you go to the doctor and Social Security is paying your bill, is based on the average income of the households in the whole county, and also it's also based on population and a few other things. Well, in Merced County, doctors and medical facilities get somewhere between 6 and 10% less than if that doctor was located in Stanislaus County. And now this is all federal. This has nothing to do with the state. So I suggested he present a bill in Congress to fix this problem. If we're a disadvantaged county, that we're called, because of our household income, they should be giving doctors more money here, not less, to get people to come here. I'm on my 4th doctor in 5 years because the doctors have left. And so we need to encourage doctors to come to our area. And that's why Kaiser will not come to our area, because they get paid less money than if you go to Fresno County or if you go to Stanislaus County, just on each side of us. So he actually got excited when I presented that to him, and he talked to his chief of staff, and they're going to write the bill. So I hope that works. I hope it goes through, and I hope he gets support in Congress for it. And maybe we can fix, I think, this broken problem that I don't think in Washington, D.C., they realize what's happening in small counties like ours. I'd like to congratulate both candidates that ran for District 1, Sanchez and Perez, for running for election. The results aren't in yet. They'll be coming in pretty soon. But I just want to make a case. When I've been to probably at the League of Cities, probably 5 or 6 instructional courses about districts, when you should create a district for your cities. And now we have districts here in Los Banos. I think this election is the perfect example why we're not big enough for districts. They say usually cities have to be between 100 and 150,000 people to have districts. Each district should have between 40 and 50,000 people living in it, and then it becomes fair. So with the amount of votes that came out of District 1, it cost us $100 a vote, approximately. And I'm not here complaining about that, but that just shows there's not enough people to have districts in our town. I don't know if there's anything we can do about it. It might be that has come and gone now. But that proves that unless you have a base population, you just can't get enough people to vote, you know? And so I'm just on my high horse right now because I've been talking about this for about 15 years, I think. But I congratulate both of them. They ran a good campaign and wish them both well. And I'm glad to see whoever's seated up here in the next meeting or the meeting after, depending when the election is certified and we get it from the county election department, then we will swear that person in. So with that, is there anything else anybody else has to add? Okay, we will be going into closed session. And in closed session will be public employment, city manager, city attorney, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B. If any conclusion comes out of closed session, we'll be coming out here and taking a public vote. But we'll be going to closed session. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We appreciate you all very much. Okay, we're at a closed session, public employment title, city manager and city attorney pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B. There's no reportable action taken in closed session, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.